Good morning. Today have something a little bit different. It seems I put this telephone up some years ago on the lighting gallery, so some of you may have seen this already. Anyhow, let's have a little chat about it. It looks like I picked this up at a boot sale once again a long time ago, and probably for a sensible price. I've never ever seen another one of these, which doesn't mean they didn't exist. Looking at the literature, this little phone was brought about by Ericsson's. It's called the Etelux, and the date Ericsson's brought it out was 1962, so it was a few years ago. The example I've got here, I think it is a later one. Well, I know it's a later one. You've got a date on there. This is the little ballast or Beretta tube, which is marked 68. And funny enough, this one has only got one set of leads that go into it. So it's obviously modified from the regulator you see on the 706. There's the rest of the regulator. So this is obviously especially made for this particular telephone. As far as I know, a lot of the innards are probably been changed from the original. Looking at an earlier picture of this, it certainly does appear to be different. There's your induction coil. There's quite a large one. No diagrams with this, unfortunately. The dial is obviously a modified dial, but it's based on the same idea as you'd find on the 706, the good old trigger type dial. Just letters, not letters, just numbers. And also interesting, the name on the front is actually Plessey. So it looks like this was either made for Plessey, for Plessey's telecommunication systems. I don't know, but it is slightly different. I know this model was probably, here's the outer, was probably brought about to be an answer to the little princess phone that was used in America. So I don't know, but that's what I think. It was also supplied to Hull. Now, Hull was the only operating system in GB or the UK which was non-GPO or post office, and as such, as far as I know, this was never used by the post office. I believe the circuitry was approved by them, but I don't think it was actually used. The handset is more or less the same handset as used on the 700 series. The cord looks to me like that cord which I can remember. I'm trying to think the name of it. It had a name, but this was the type of instrument cord which originally was on the 706, which I can just remember. This was when I started with the GPO many years ago, which is obviously in the 60s. Grebe, I think they call it a grebe cord, is it? Grebe. Anyway, someone out there will be able to tell me the exact name. As I say, I can't remember everything. It's okay, it's showing its age. Getting back to the instrument itself, you can see some of the components in there. It's certainly well compacted with bits, and I think some of these parts have been added at a later date. So this is certainly not the original design, but outwardly it is. This part here is the not ringer. This actually buzzes. It gives a buzz. There's your 2 windings on there, 500 ohms, which would give you the typical 1000 ohms. What else can I say? You obviously got your that capacitor there, which looks like it's been glued in, so it has been modified, but not to worry. I'm just wondering whether it was modified for Plessey, because that is definitely the trademark of Plessey. Well made little phone. As I said, had for quite a few years. The colour of the case looks like a green, to shade of green, and so's the handset. How it will show on YouTube, I don't know, but it looks like it's grey, but it's not. It's actually green. The case is in very good nick, no damage. You screw the case on from top, so the 2 screws are captive in there, and I can show you them. Screws there, and screws on the other side. And they go into a brass inserted pillar and make a very good way of holding the cover on. It's a nice easy cover to take off. You know, you haven't got a fiddle to get it off. It just undo those 2 screws and the cover comes off. Now let's have a look at the base. I'll turn him over. I haven't taken the dial off, it's a bit of a job. But I say it's obviously a modified dial, because they did also make a variety or a type which the dial, you could make it light up. Don't know more about that. This one is obviously not that type. Whether it was powered by the line, which I don't think so, is probably an auxiliary small transformer, as you would find on the Princess type phone, but this one hasn't got that. There's all the data which is necessary if you want to trace it more. N is obviously the designation used by Ericsson, and in case I haven't shown it very clear, it's N24988A1. And the diagram number is DGM for diagram 202281 stroke SW. That should find you the correct diagram. There's obviously a trade name there, Etelux, registered trademark, and down here you've got the trademark of Ericsson's Telephones Limited, and they'd be at Beeston. So that is the Ericsson's Etelux. Still works fine. I've just tried it, funnily enough. Probably hasn't been used for donkey's years, all tried out. But the beauty of the Virgin system, which is more critical when it comes to actual ringing. Now this one rang okay, no problem. The impedance being 1000 ohms. Obviously there's no 3.3k resistor widening circuit, so I didn't know whether it was going to work. Sometimes, not on this one, this worked perfectly, but some of the phones I've had have played up. The Virgin did not like the ringing impedance, and in fact the one I'm doing now, looking at, which I put up a few days ago from Austria, and you put that on ring and it just ring trips. I know there's nothing wrong with the bell, and the capacitor, as far as I know and testing, appears to be okay, but for some unknown reason Virgin doesn't like it. So in this case I'm going to put a 3.3k in series with the bell. I've ordered some resistors. Really, I haven't got any of these resistors, so I put an order in for 10 of them off of eBay. Don't buy them singly, you'll pay a lot of money for them. Resistors are only a case of costing a few pence each. They're not that valuable, and you can get them for a sensible price. And just the small ones to do, half of what is more than adequate. And when they arrive, hopefully tomorrow by post, I'll try it out, and I'll put a little rider in under my under the video for this. I've also been answering loads of stuff. I know I haven't been doing this for a long time, and as you can see, I didn't realise this was done quite easily by all the questions asked is actually on YouTube, and you can pick it up without having to sort through different articles or vids that you put up. So I've learnt that. I'm learning the whole time. When it comes to computers, I'm a slow learner. I'll be honest, I don't like computers. I have to use them because, well, you can't survive without them. A lot of the stuff with computers is very, very good and very handy. But unfortunately, a lot of it, when they go wrong, they don't explain what's gone wrong. And it does confuse me a lot. So much so that a private telephone system, I can't even call it what it's called now, I can't get that to work. I don't understand what they want. Probably if I was a kid of 11, 12, 13, or even a bit older than that, they would probably know immediately how to do it. They were brought up with computers. I wasn't. When I was at school, I didn't even know what a computer was. So, you know, no way was I brought up with computers. I've had to learn by trying stuff out and learning that way. Well, I have learned a bit, but, you know, I wish I knew more about them. But anyhow, not to worry, I get by, and that's the main thing. So that's more or less all I've got to say on this phone. This is the Ericsson's Etelux, invented or brought out in 1962. The model that we're looking at now looks like it was probably brought out in 1968 by the date on that little Beretta or ballast tube of the regulator. I think, yeah, that's all I've got to say. Anyhow, thanks for watching. Any comments, please, mate. I will try and get back to you sooner now that I know how to do that on the quick way without having to look back. It's all there. You get the right page up. It's just that okay, I'm probably thick, so, you know, that may be the answer. I'm learning the whole time, but I still say, as far as I'm concerned, computers are not the friendliest of things, and they don't tell you if they go wrong. They don't tell you what has gone wrong. You're left to try it, ask around, or whatever. Or sometimes the fault clears over time, or disconnect the circuit and plug it in again. That sometimes brings it back to life. But anyway, enough of my moans and groans about computers. Please enjoy this on the Etelux. And I know I haven't shown this phone before on YouTube. It did appear on the lighting gallery some years ago. So once again, thanks for watching. Thank you. Any questions, obviously, you know what to do. And I'll try and get back to you. Thank you.